All roads lead to the vein.
Hey, what's up everyone? Brad Chmielewski here with episode 172 of Shatter The Vain. We are fresh off the Unified Live Championships. There's going to be spoiler alerts, or this is a spoiler. There are going to be spoilers in this episode, so spoiler alert. I'm sure most of you have seen who won. I'm sure if you've logged in the game, there is probably a giant splash screen saying who won the game. So it's really hard to avoid if you are an esports fan of Vainglory. So we dive into that a little bit on this episode. I have Sunz joining me. He's a fellow GankStars member. We chat about these finals. We chat about update 2.8. We talk about streaming and then other changes that are coming. We got some more hints on 5v5, new hero teas, just a huge, awesome week of Vainglory news. Hopefully you've been enjoying all the episodes. The episode with AWKN the previous week. We didn't really dive too much into the update because it dropped after we recorded. So yeah, bringing some of that this time. We don't run through all the patch notes. Go read them. There's so many little changes to numbers and tweaks and different heroes. Read them, then go play all the heroes. See how they change. See who you're liking. These new items are really changing up the fold quite a bit. I'm still getting used to this healing flask. I'm sure most people are too. Not having potions, it's a little rough. I want to mention the Patreon page. That's over at patreon.com/shatterthevain. If you can support the show, that would be awesome. But just support it by listening. That's very cool too. Or recommend it to someone. If you recommend it to someone, then we keep growing, we get bigger, more people are listening, more people are playing Vainglory. That's what we need to do. But check out that Patreon page if you can back the show or support it in any way. And let's do it. Let's jump into this week's episode.
Shatter the Vain.
This is the 172 episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, I try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And every week, bringing on people from the community, people that love this game, people that just want to chat about Vainglory. And this week, I got Sunz joining me, and we've got quite a week to talk about. But welcome, Sunz.
Hey, what's up?
For people that may have not seen you on Twitter or seen you in Discord or anything, you want to give a little introduction of who you are?
Well, as you guys know, my name is Sunz. I am one of many members of GankStars. I do nothing much. Haven't been in the guild that much either, but I am a member and I stream here and there. And as he said, you can see me either on Twitter or on Discord.
Nice. Yeah, I got your, I'll include the Twitch link and the Twitter link in the show notes and everything so everyone can go over there and follow it up. So yeah, you have streamed a little bit, but you don't have a schedule, you just kind of dabble in it a little bit?
Before I ended up moving back, I was streaming before that. When you have that internet that doesn't want to cooperate, right, you can't really stream well. So trying to test the internet here at this house, see what I can do, and if it goes well, then I can possibly start streaming again. But the way it looks like, not until I can get better.
Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy the streaming part? Like, did you like it when you were doing it?
I love streaming. I am actually an affiliate for Twitch, so
nice.
I get all that snazzy stuff.
Oh, fancy. Were you streaming anything before Vainglory, or did Vainglory kind of get you into streaming?
I was streaming a lot of Overwatch and some Warframe here and there. When I was in college is when I actually started streaming.
Oh, nice. So then, yeah. What brought you into the world of Vainglory? Like, how'd you come across it, and why'd you So I guess I don't even know if you're still playing Overwatch, but it seems like this is like your main game at the moment.
Yes, Vainglory is my main game. I play it whenever I can, when my internet again wants to cooperate. But I came into the Vainglory scene in 2015 during, I think, the August, which would be the fall or summer season.
Okay.
And I came into the game pretty much the exact same time the esports started. So when the esports started, I was like, oh, there's now an esport for this. Time to get into the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I got into it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I found people to play with that was in my high school and played with them. And from there, I just grown and got into the community.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool that you have people that you can also play with in school and meet up with people. I don't have a lot of people that I get together with and play with, so that's it creates a different experience for the game.
It does. It really does. Yeah. Having people and now being in one of the biggest guilds in the Vainglory community, I have a lot of people to be able to play with and rank with and play blitz and get triggered with. So
right, yeah, there seems to always be a GankStars member on playing at some hour of the night, even. So you always find a friend to play with there.
Yeah.
I know GankStars is looking for more casual members, so if anyone wants to join up or is looking to join GankStars, now's your chance too. So definitely look for that on their Twitter account. Well,
oh yeah, be sure to follow them. Apply. We have really good casual leaders to be able to go through your applications and all that, and possibly become one of us.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of news to talk about, so let's just dive into that. It's been an awesome week for Vainglory.
Vainglory News.
To kick things off, I think we have to talk about what just wrapped up. We were watching it, we were recording after that, so it's 11:30, 12. It's about midnight our time as we're recording this because it was a long day of Vainglory esports. But the Unified Championships just finished, and we just watched C9 take on Immortals. So first off, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch this or haven't even logged into Vainglory yet, because I'm sure they already have a picture up, congratulating the winners.
C9 did really amazing. I give props to all of them. Immortals, beautiful, even though they got second place.
Right, yeah. So the finals was great. It went to 4 games. Would have loved to see it go all 5 games, or so that would have been great. But it doesn't always go that way, and it would have been even later than that.
Yeah. Thank gosh.
Right. So if we go back to Friday when the Unified Championship started, they kind of set it up so EU and NA both had opportunities to make it into day 2. And I think this was a important thing that they did, because when your region goes there and if you don't make it to day 2, you're it hurts, it stings a little bit. So EU unfortunately did not make it very far on that second day, but I think they were showing, I would say they were playing better this finals than they were last finals compared to the NA teams. I don't know if you agree with that or if you have other things to say on.
I gotta agree with that. NA definitely is the most dominant region in the Vainglory scene over EU, SEA, SA, EA. Not bragging because I'm in NA.
Right.
We gotta represent our own region. But EU did do good on the second day. They tried their hardest. Definitely came out with a punch from their region, and just NA is just a stronger region when it comes to Vainglory.
So yeah, I think they're gonna definitely continue to step up their game, and hopefully we see the EU Vainglory 8 really shining this coming season. But then we got to see Nova take down Tempo Storm, and in my bracket, I had Tempo Storm winning here because
Same.
I'm a big fan of Lost Boy. Met him out at a couple different events, so I just I don't know, been in the scene for so long and I've seen his name for so long. I'm just like, yeah, man, I want to see you make it. So, but Nova took him down. So that was, I guess, a little sad to me, but Nova was, I don't know, they were on a tear.
They were when Tempo or when Nova beat them, beat Tempo. I was like, wow, because I had Tempo winning that game, and they would go up against SK, and I had SK winning. So I actually had one EU team making it to the next round.
Okay.
But things happen. Nova wins. Nova beats SK to all NA semis. So not like I wanted points.
Yeah, and man, there was so much shade getting thrown at EU throughout the event. So it was, I guess, Nova just like, they are a very cocky bunch of kids. So I'll leave it at that. But
I don't know. I think Nova is a little bit more mature than TSM, because that day when that game they took out Dynasty and they threw up those signs.
Okay. I think that was all for the meme. That picture's been replaced and changed so many times now. I gotta say that was all for the meme.
It was good, but hey, that's them. Gotta have fun in a competitive scene.
Yeah. So yeah, nice work to Nova. They were looking really strong. And then when TSM played on day 2, they just kind of fell apart to Immortals. It seemed like they just, I don't know, they never felt like they were in the zone all weekend. It felt like they were on like autopilot to some degree. I had TSM winning the whole thing because I thought, you know what, this is Flash X. He's talking about retiring. Maybe he's going to go out on top, go all out here. I'm not saying they didn't like try. It just felt like maybe they were just cruising and thinking they had this in the bag a little more than they did. And yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Immortals took them down.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the team. It's just they just, I don't know. I guess they didn't have it in them that day. But Immortals for sure came out with just swinging through this entire tournament.
Yeah, and then I gotta say, I think my favorite game of the weekend, if you're gonna go back and watch this, the finals are great, but those Immortal versus TSM games, because it went to that series went the longest. It was just crazy intense, so much back and forth. So I would go back and watch that, and it gave Immortals quite a bit of time to rest and just like brush up on Cloud9 before their finals. Did you have
for sure there?
Did you have a favorite game or series from the weekend?
Mine would have, I don't know, the TSM Immortals match would probably have to be my second. My favorite one would probably be day 1. Okay. Going back to Immortals and Hammers. To me, that was a really good match.
Okay.
But yeah, that TSM and Immortals one was good. But that's my second favorite one.
Mm-hmm. I think I almost blocked out that first day a little bit. It's so much Vainglory over the course of 3 days. I don't know if there's any way to like cut the games down or anything, but it's a long time, and I gotta imagine for all the players there, for the staff, for everyone involved, it's just gotta be grueling at some point, because just sitting here watching it from basically noon to midnight, it's like, yikes, what did I do with my day?
I don't know. I would wake up like 9-10 in the morning and be like, all right, time to get up, and it's like, oh, they have Vainglory's in like 6 hours, because it's 3 a.m. when it starts for the East Coast. Right. Or not 3 a.m., 3 p.m. It starts for the East Coast. And I'm like, what am I going to do between now and then? Or hopping on to Overwatch and just playing a bunch of matches and stuff, and maybe playing some Vainglory or something. Mm-hmm. So it is a lot. And then when Vainglory starts, it's a lot. You have to sit there and you're just watching. And then you have to, once there's a break, it's like, all right, time to go get food, or time to go to the bathroom. And it's like just standing there or sitting there watching. I kind of want to start hosting maybe a VG party whenever big tournaments come on. But
yeah, exactly. And the staff, like everyone involved, like all the casters, like they probably had the most casters they've ever had at this event. I know a lot of the casters only cast on the first day. They were kind of like the new casters, like Denomine, he only cast on the first day. I think they were just trying to like test people out, get their feet wet. So that was nice to see some other and hear some new voices in the scene.
For sure. I got to give mad props to Denomine for doing such a perfect job on his first live event. He did really good with casting.
And it was almost hilarious to see him in a suit, because I do not picture him in a suit, knowing doing the undersprawl with him and having seen other photos of him on Twitter. It's like he does not look like a suit wearing guy.
I didn't even know what he looked. I just knew of his voice because if you guys didn't know, back I think about a month or two ago, the Halcyon event, I did some work with that as well, and I just heard Denomine's voice through just whatever we were using, and that's all I knew of him for. I didn't even know he was casting. I didn't know he was a caster. I thought it was just someone out there in the community. Really didn't know, but
yeah, he got into casting in the last, I want to say, 3 months, because he did a lot of VAS, the Challenger series, and so he was doing that and helping Dragonborn out. So I think he's kind of getting into it, and we'll probably see and hear more of him here coming up in the future. Very cool.
For sure.
So this was the last patch, or last, I guess, games we're going to see played on update 2.7, because
finally,
because last week update 2. Or this week basically now 2.8 dropped, and I didn't get a chance to talk too much about it, and it was kind of strange watching this old patch knowing there's all these changes and I don't know, tweaks that happened in this update. They did they did have Reza in the update they were playing on, but he didn't get played. I don't think I saw him at all, which is I guess a little disappointing. But update 2.8, I'd love to just kind of talk about the update a little bit, run down at some of the changes, because I've gone through these patch notes a couple times, or these update notes. I recommend everyone to go through them, read them, because there's so much that changes that just the little tweaks to items and hero balancing can kind of throw you all off for like a couple weeks as you get used to it. So yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. I think the biggest thing is the 2 new items that we're seeing in here, the Spell Sword and the Healing Flask. And the Healing Flask is a replacement for the Halcyon Potions, which is, this is taking some getting used to. I think I'm pretty good on it. I don't know about you yet. Are you feeling okay without the potions?
With me being a jungle main, I relied on potions a lot, because I would always be, that aggressive jungler. I would always dive into trying to get to the backline and stuff on most team fights. Not having potions there to pop feels weird. This flask definitely gives a new, what do I want to say? A new strategy, or adds to the meta of this 2.8 patch to be able to a lot of team fights will really go well.
I'm so weary to use the Healing Flask too, because the cooldown, what is it, 120 seconds?
50. I don't know. Let's just call it infinity.
It's
infinity
so long.
cooldown.
So I'm like, I will only ever use it in the it's like in case of emergency, break this kind of thing. And that's the only time I'll use it. If someone's like, I'm gonna dive you into the turret. Oh, I'm gonna pop this. No, you don't.
Brian, I don't know. I'm a huge Taka main.
Okay.
So the potions really helped me, because I would have low health. I was like, all right, time to go to the jungle, get a healing camp. All right, cool, I have a healing camp. Pop a potion, pop my beat, because that heals you all the way up to full health. Just doing that, and it's like not having those potions there. It's like, great. Now what do? Oh, I have this flask. Pops it. Oh, we gotta wait 100-something seconds now.
Yeah, and hope you get something out of popping it too. That's kind of the goal of it. I think you need to either, like I said, survive or make a play with it. if you just use it to like refresh, that's kind of the waste of it, I think.
For sure, it's definitely a mini version of the fountain.
Mm-hmm. And I've been calling it, I think, the healing fountain at times. I think it's it's gonna take some getting used to on the name and everything and just what it is. But because of this, and it's kind of funny that we saw so much Adagio and Grace and Lyra getting played at the Unified Live Championships. I am seeing a ton of these healing type heroes and even Baptiste getting played because we don't have Halcyon potions now. I don't know about you when you're out there playing, but those are kind of the heroes that continue to pop up because if you can be there and heal your laner or just last a little longer, it is making a big difference.
This definitely gives the healers a chance to be able to get played out there in different games in this patch. I pretty much kind of want to nickname this patch the healers patch because again, that eliminates the uses of potions in the game. The healing flask not going to be able to use back to back times. Wait 100 and something or 50 seconds to be able to have it. Definitely gives the healers a chance to be able to get into the meta finally.
Yeah, and with the healing book getting slashed and the barbed needle, those getting reduced, it's like, yeah, please just, hey Captain, play that Lyra and just hang out with me in lane and heal me up.
You're gonna probably see a lot of double healers, like as we've seen in the Unified Championships. That teams playing that double healer, the Adagio and that Lyra comp to be able to withstand that. You're going to see a lot of that in this patch, though.
Which is, I feel like, slightly, maybe not what Vainglory wants, because playing other MOBAs and playing Vainglory for so long, it is the worst when the meta shifts to the tank healers that never die. The games that last 30 minutes because everyone just fights, heals, fight, heals. It's boring when that happens. So hopefully it doesn't shake up completely like that. I know we have bans, so sometimes these heroes don't always make it through. Yeah.
For sure. for sure. Banning one of those two healers is going to be a thing in rank now, and let's just hope it doesn't go that direction.
Yeah, I'm still seeing the Grace and Catherine bans, like kind of the bans that were the main bans you were seeing in update 2.7. It hasn't like shifted too much yet. Because Catherine did get a little bit of a nerf, but it's still, I don't think, enough for her. Like, I love me some Catherine, but I think she's still maybe just a little too strong. I don't know how you're feeling about her right now.
I don't even much play against Catherines in my tier that I'm in.
Okay.
So
your jungle main, what were some of the jungles you saw in this update kind of that you were kind of go to that maybe got changed or tweaked, or who do you think is going to be at the top now?
I see a lot of, if I can pull up my notes here that I have, I see a lot of like a rhyme, maybe possibly in my games.
Okay.
I see a lot of Black Feather, for sure. Again, that's in the tier that I'm in. I don't know anything about like the upper tiers, like the top five tiers in the game. I'm the bottom 5 half.
Okay.
So you guess on what my tier is.
Yeah, I think Blackfeather is probably, I don't think he got changed at all this update. And sometimes that's kind of what you see. The heroes that didn't get changed in an update kind of resurface. And he's one of those heroes that is so good about just diving the backline. And with heroes like Scarf or even Celeste, because you got that Eve that didn't get tweaked. So you're seeing those kind of rise up. If he can dive on them, they're just gone.
For sure, weapon BF is going to be a thing now.
Definitely.
And I'm going to just use it to my advantage and hope it doesn't get banned.
Right. It's important to, like, if you are looking to climb, you want to pay attention to the meta, just know what's kind of happening because you can use it to your advantage until people understand what's happening because they're like, oh, I haven't seen Blackfeather in a little while. I forgot how to play against him, and then you just start wrecking people for a little bit.
I kind of forgot how to play against Blackfeather.
Right, I think that's what happened with Scarf and Celeste, as they were like top picks at the Unified Live Championships, and they were starting to creep into the meta for most players, and now I think people may start picking them up again, and we haven't seen them in so long, so I think people are like, I gotta avoid this flames and these goops, and don't stand in the goop, and just all this stuff you have to relearn every update. Let's see, what else in this update? So we saw 4 skins. We got that final reveal of that Finn skin this past week.
I want the Finn skin. I want it so badly. I love it.
Right? It looks awesome. You don't even jungle, so you're not even playing that captain role that often. Man.
I will weapon power jungle or crystal power jungle Finn just to have that skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why somebody messed up the hype for this skin because they did this updates with a lot of streamers and YouTubers where they could put out videos and show off other skins and all the changes. But Finn wasn't involved, and then Finn was in like the pre-marketing material in the App Store and things like that. This skin, and then they were just like, "Oh, here's this Bakura Finn skin. It's released," and it's like, what? Where was the hype?
Yeah, they should have definitely came out with maybe some teasers or something to be able to hype up this skin and be like, oh my god, there's a new Finn skin. Like, we haven't had a Finn skin in a long time.
I think
last that I know,
the last summer skin, the
pool
party.
So
Finn.
This was for sure like should have been hyped up.
Yeah.
I would have been hyped up for it.
I think something got messed up, and we saw that trailer go out today it was up on the Apple App Store, Twitter, and Vainglory showed it off, I think on stream maybe, and I think that was maybe the hope to kind of show it off at the Unified Live Championships, but it got out there, and then they were just decided, like, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. It's a special edition, so it's like, what, about $30 if you're buying it with ice. You will be able to buy it with opals, they said, in a month. They have not said how many opals, but I'm kind of guessing in this 800 to 1,000 opal range because of the equivalent $30 kind of mark for it.
I advise you guys start grinding now.
Yeah, that's a lot of opals. Like, you can get that many opals because you may not have used them yet, so you might be sitting on them if you've been playing for a long time. Yeah.
Last skin I bought with opals was most likely Kashka.
Okay.
Kashka, red lantern Kashka or blue lantern Kashka.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we haven't seen any really special edition skins in a while, so it's nice that they did not forget about the opals because they have to give people ways to use the currencies that they continue to add to the game.
For sure. For sure.
Anything else in this update kind of standing out at you, or that is really messing up your jungle gameplay?
Well, other than this beautiful looking Egyptian Idris skin that I'm actually looking at right now. As a jungler, this is one of my mains, so to have this skin, I want it as well. Other than that, it's the spell sword. Reading upon this, giving it the finally having a weapon cooldown item.
Yeah.
I think first ever. It's definitely for sure going to change the way gameplay is, along with this healing flask that no one likes.
Yeah, I haven't found the best heroes for the spell sword yet. I know like Ringo is pretty good on it because you do like want that cooldown, but then you give up quite a bit from it as well. If you're looking to play like some cooldown glaive, it's not too bad on him because you get that extra energy up. You're always out of energy when you need to afterburn either in or out at that perfect moment. So having that little extra bit might be pretty nice from this item. So
I see it used more for junglers again, me being a jungler, I think it's used more for the junglers
Yeah.
than the carries, because again, it gives us an item to be able to have weapon power, especially with Idris or with Cruel, with those two being somewhat being because Idris can either go crystal or weapon, and then with Cruel and being pretty much straight weapon, it gives them to be able to have cooldowns, to be able to go out and have I apologize, I haven't memorized all the moves yet or all the abilities yet.
Sure.
But Cruel's A, I think this is A. Yeah, his A, to be able to have that on constant cooldown, to be able to put that out, especially towards late game, because Cruel is a huge late game hero.
Yeah, you might see him grab this instead of one of it. Well, he's usually building like 3 or 4 defensive items, so maybe he swaps out one of those for some energy regen or something like this here. So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, kind of where it fits in that perfect build, because you do give up something if you're going by this. Like, I love new items getting added to the game because it changes up everything, and I am always building different items. I'm not one to kind of stick with the same path over and over again. I like to try out different things just to see what works and what fun I could have. So I'll continue to try this item, and I recommend you giving it a try, especially if you're, like you said, using that Cruel or Idris or Glaive. I think it's worth it there. Awesome.
For sure.
And then we did see some change-ups to those gold miners and crystal sentry.
I was just about to mention that especially the crystal sentry, it being dumbed down 6 meters, which makes a huge difference in jungle.
Yeah,
in jungle fights.
Yeah, this is a weird one to me. When the crystal sentry, when they like up the AI to it and it like kind of protected your jungle, it felt like, holy crap, this thing is so strong. It hurts. Like, I can't even think about going over there. Now, I almost feel like this thing's back to where it was. It's easy to kill, like, no big deal. Let's just take this right now. And I wonder if this was a change for maybe more of the masses of the gameplay. Because the pros, they just go in, take the crystal sentry, they don't care. But if you're getting new to the game or just getting started, the crystal sentry is confusing, and you try to kill it and it just like kills you previously.
Yeah, it for sure gives the new players into the community or into the game to be able to learn the game and learn how to use the crystal sentry to your team's advantage. Because again, when the crystal sentry came out, I think it was 2.0 is when the crystal sentry came out. Maybe later on there or before then, it changed a lot within jungle play, with junglers and with rotations and just team fights on like the other side of the jungle.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think this is making, especially heroes like Taka and Kashka, who are very mobile and can run through that jungle quicker. They're going to be in your back stealing stuff now and not having to worry about that crystal sentry as much. But it does hit harder. It hits faster and doesn't do as much damage. I think that's the tweak that they made to it. And then the gold miner, he got upgraded just a little bit. So he's got a little more health, and you get more gold from him. It went from 300 to 400, and you can capture him more often than you used to. It went from 4 minutes it was full to 3 minutes, so they're making this more of a focal point. I think they want people to fight here more often rather than up in lane where it's kind of safer. The jungle adds this mystery, and Vainglory is all about jungle fights. They want the jungle to be an important place. So once everyone's in lane, it just feels like Battle Royale, and that's no fun. They want to have moments here. So I think that's why they changed the gold miner like this.
I approve of the gold miner change.
Yeah, I like this too. Cool. And then we saw a lot of other little tweaks to the gold and the health of the jungle camps. Lots of numbers here that I would definitely recommend reading, and you kind of see what's worth it. But most players may not see, getting 60% gold instead of 75%. It might just take you a little bit longer to get to some of your items than you were used to. Yeah. And then lots of other small tweaks. I know there's all the tweaks to the Blitz. What are they? The talents. I don't know what they all are beforehand. So if you're a huge Blitz player, go check out those talents because they did get changed quite a bit. I'm not going to run through all those because I don't know where they started. And I don't really know where they're at now because I don't play a ton of Blitz. Do you play a lot of Blitz?
I think all I can play is Blitz.
Oh, okay. With your internet?
With my internet.
Okay.
But one going back real fast to all the jungle stuff that changed upon this last update. The fact that in the past updates you would have a double lane. They switched it back to double jungle because in the lane now gives less gold less gold than what the jungle does now. So switching that really changes a huge thing within the meta or within the strategy in the game.
So if you're that captain main, hang out with your jungler a little more because you're gonna get more value out of it than sitting in lane for so long. Because like I said, that became boring, and that wasn't what Vainglory wants. They want that captain or that roamer to be kind of moving around the map and in the jungle, going up the lane, setting up plays.
I'm glad I don't play captain.
Yeah, it's a tricky role. You have to be everywhere on the map, and you are blamed for whatever goes wrong. So
I'd rather just play jungle and be like, oh, Taka kill.
Yeah,
okay,
go for
back
it.
to my jungle.
Cool. Well, yeah. So that's the updates, and then continuing to move forward. There was a little dev Q&A during the Unified Live Championships. It was a lot shorter than I thought it was. I think they did like 3 questions. But there was a couple interesting things that they did mention that I wanted to let everyone know here. One was ZKent mentioned that there are more items coming. We will probably very much likely see another item or 2 in the autumn season. So this isn't even later for 5v5. This is now. I think they're slowly starting to drip these items out, so they are ready for 5v5. So I'm excited for that. There was no like what they could be or hints or anything. Just like very likely more items coming. How do you feel about that? Are you down for more items, or are you kind of like good with what you have right now?
With coming from, because I played League. Yes, I played League. One of the most okay and quote unquote games in esports.
Yeah.
With them having a huge, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of I'm not gonna say hate messages, but a lot of disagrees with people from this comparing VG to League. But with League having a bunch of items, my guessing Vainglory wants to reach that item max to be able to have multiple combinations for every single hero within the game, and having more heroes and having be able to put strategy and meta and have all this stuff within just one game on the phone, perfect for the touch.
Yeah, well, it's much more exciting if you are Ringo and the other person is Vox. You should have a slightly different build path than each other. Otherwise, it's really just like who can click faster. That's not interesting. Like I said, like you want to have like, well, I picked up the bone saw and this new item and this new item. He went the old items that aren't as good and da. So, yeah, there's so many items in League, and I'm sure they're looking at what's there and maybe what could come over to Vainglory and kind of give a little something.
For sure. Like maybe I wouldn't say taking an item, but maybe like looking at an item from League, making something of their own that's not quite related to the item, but something there. And like, yeah, I mean, a lot of MOBAs do that off of each other. They look off of their games and they come back and maybe I'll put this item or something related to this item.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And then there was a little bit of talk about 5v5.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah, playing League, probably.
If anyone wants to team up, I'm down to make a 5v5 team. Hit me up on Twitter.
There you go. So they were originally saying like end of year, maybe 2018, but Playoff Beard made it sound like this is dropping in December. So it's around, Worlds is around December, so we kind of got a little bit of a date there too. That's new. But 5v5 is probably going to come out around the same time, which makes sense. They can kind of hype it. People are getting usually new phones, new things around Christmas to play this. So if they could crank up the advertising too in December, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, for sure, beginning something. Oh, for sure, beginning something new.
Yeah. So excited there, and then
internet.
Yeah, you just need internet. You got the device. You just need the internet. And then Zcat talked about how the Vein Crystal is going to be much harder to take down in 5v5. They want the Vein Crystal to feel like the boss that you killed. Because right now, and in League, it just feels like this thing you kill after the turrets. Like one last thing. It's like, I don't know, and like like Ultimate Ninja Warrior kind of thing where you just like ring the bell. Like you finish the course, you just have to ring the bell.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially making this crystal harder to destroy. It really gives heroes like Saw who can build double crit, like Ringo who can build double crit, and just crit down the Vein Crystal, and just as you said, it's like Ninja Warrior, just ding.
Yeah. If we look at a game like Heroes of the Storm, they're basically their Vein Crystal equivalent shoots at you when you get to it, when you start to take it down. So
that's the same with Paragon. I think that I've dipped my finger into that game. It's okay to a point, but it's just like in Paragon how that one does it as well. It fires at you even if you try to attack it.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Hopefully we'll see something like that. I'm sure they have something in the works that's a little different rather than just shooting at you. It may, like the Vein Crystal is this energy source on the Halcyon Fold. So it may, like, I don't know, shoot lasers at you or electrocute you or, I don't know, pull you in or something. I don't know. Who knows what they're planning, but that was a neat
add
little
inhibitors. What?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for some boss minion kind of things.
Yeah.
Be interesting. So those
super minions. Let's go.
Yeah. So those were the kind of, I feel like, the highlights that they talked about in this little dev preview. There was stuff about also making zero downtime when updates happen, which is definitely pretty cool to hear that they're working towards that. Things like just making the player experience better when you start playing, and more, I guess, reason to continue to play. So they're always working on that. But I feel like a lot of the team is dedicated to this 5v5 right now. So they're working towards that, and we'll probably see some of that other player progression stuff get kind of rolled out later on this year or in the update 5, the update with 5v5.
Yeah, update 5.0. What happened to the other ones?
Yeah, they just skip and go right to 5. Just makes sense.
For sure, Vainglory or SCMC is really making their game into something, and I really can't wait to see the future of Vainglory, and pretty much coming into the community like right when it starts. You know, watching a game grow.
Yeah,
it feels good.
It feels good, man. It's a weird thing when you start playing any new game, especially a MOBA, where there's 30 heroes now, and if you keep playing, in a year or 2 years, there's now 60 heroes, and you're like, well, I know all these heroes, I know what they do, but someone else who starts, they're like, I don't know where to begin. So it's a cool thing then to be like, I was here when this hero was at it.
I think I came in after Rona. I think that's when I came in. I'm not sure.
Cool. Well, we did get a new hero teased as well. Right at the end of the dev Q&A, they teased this new hero called the Churn Walker. And they said this was a very old story, or he was mentioned somewhere back in the lore, very beginning. So I'll wait for Halcyon Masters, he'll put up his video probably diving into where the Churn Walker is. But all we got to see was this little, I guess, trailer that probably Shinkaigen put together. We got some glimpse of the hero. What do you think of this guy?
I hope he's a jungler.
Well, it was all jungle shots. So
really,
yeah.
it was all jungle shot. It really does give a tease to it being a new jungler, but they pretty much said the same thing about Baptiste. They said Baptiste might be well, he is slightly a jungler, but he also does roam at the same time. This could be a new roamer.
It could be, yeah.
And we just don't know.
Because from the looks at him, he's got all these chains that he kind of throws out, maybe like a fin to some degree, but I don't think they're going to want something that is another hook that pulls you. I bet it's chains you throw out that connect and kind of can snare someone. If anyone's played something like League of Legends where Morgana's ultimate, she can, when she uses it connects, and if you stay close to those people, they get stuck after a certain amount of time. So we might see something like that, like he throws out his chains, and if he stays connected with them, they're stuck or stunned or, I don't know, silenced, who knows. Because he's got a lot of chains, a lot of hooks on him.
I called it the Vainglory version of Scorpion. From MKX.
Okay. Oh yeah, he just throws that out. That's true.
You're over here. Yeah.
It kind of was glitchy, the preview, and kind of like spooky almost. I'm sure that the Churn is like this dark and mysterious place. But I wonder if this hero is also going to have some sort of stealth or some sort of toxic thing. Like he turns like a green kind of ghosty blob that kind of moves around and debuffs or something. I don't know.
One of the casters, I don't know which. I think it was Tasty, but it might have been Munchables. Mentioned that it might have a stealth aspect to it. So we might actually get another stealth hero in the Halcyon Fold. Man,
I hope not. This is the worst.
I love myself. I am the Taka main, so stealth is one thing I love doing, and having another stealth hero would actually build upon my hero pool.
Yeah.
So it's all a win-win for me.
Yeah. So we'll bound to see more of this. I think he's the hero in the next update, so we're 3-4 weeks away from that update, so we should start to we're already getting drips of the new information coming out for that, and it may come sooner than that, so it's ready for when Vainglory 8 starts. Sometimes they roll out these patches quickly so they can be playing on that. I think we're like 2 or 3 weeks from Vainglory 8 to start, so this could be a short patch, this 2.8 patch.
Well, for sure.
And then the last bit of news before we wrap up this great episode here with there's been so much to talk about. I had to pare this down quite a bit, but because a fellow GankStars member on here, I had to bring up this news about Iraqi Zoro leaving GankStars. Pawn by Ukrainian put up this great post on the GankStars website. Go read that. Very heartfelt. There's a video with it. Their tears will be had, I'm sure. But then, during the Unified Live Championships, I think they spilled the beans before Iraqi got to announce it, but Iraqi is taking over Sue Generous's spot on the desk. So that's pretty exciting.
Watching the video definitely made me tear up. Being part of GankStars, him leaving as our main laner for the team is definitely sad. Sad for him to go. Sad for him to leave, just in general. But seeing that he's moved on to pretty much not going to say something better, but it's not worse either.
Right.
To be an analyst now, he's been in the community. He's been in the same organization since esport began. Since the Vainglory esport began.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him on the analyst desk, he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom within the game, and I'm proud of him. I really am.
Mm-hmm. And
it makes a good addition to the desk.
And Fuji joined recently SMC, so really they are just pulling all GankStars people over there. So everyone that's been a
Who knows?
pro
I might be
player,
next.
yeah, there you go. They pull a lot of people from the community, so it is really cool to see that, like, community members that have been playing or making content, like, they reach for those players pretty often to kind of come on board. But this is exciting to see. It was sad to hear that Sue Generous was going to be leaving the desk already. He can't fill both roles, his new role at GankStars and be on the desk. I think it's just too much of a time commitment, because he brought, I want to say, more credibility to the desk when he came on board. Before, the casters are great, but they were not pro players, so they didn't have the insight of, like, what it takes to, I guess, make it happen and play on those stages. And Sue Generous brought that to it, and it was really nice. So now having a fresh voice from Iraqi, I think that'll be really good, because he's also played on the EU side, so he can talk about EU a little better than I think Sue Generous could talk about. But
For sure. I mean, the EU casters and analysts are definitely happy to have him. Mm-hmm. So with the NA, with him being on both sides of the spectrum, he definitely gives a mind and a thought and what's the word I'm looking for? It's again 12 something at night, so
yeah,
not one of the best times to be thinking right now. Mm-hmm. But he definitely gives a for sure thought upon the analyst desk and just in esports and the VG esports in general.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, look for him. I'm gonna be on the desk for Vainglory 8. Go check out this post on the GankStars website. There's a link in the show notes. And yeah, lots of good insight. GankStars is always very transparent in what they are doing, so cool to see. Well, that's gonna do it for episode 172. Sunz, thanks for joining me. This was great.
No problem. It's for honestly one of my really first big things I've ever done in the community, other than the Halcyon event.
Okay.
So it's more of a huge thank you to you for having me on here, helping me, be able to be out there and do other things. And I can't wait to possibly maybe do another one with you. Cool.
Sounds good. Yeah. It's always, I love getting everyone's different perspective from the game. Everyone plays it and sees it differently. So it's always cool. What's the best place for people to find you? Twitter, if they have questions or want to know when you might be streaming once the internet works out?
Yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Sunz Nick. I kind of change it here and there, so kind of really hurry up and follow me, because I tend to change my Twitter name depending on some things. Sunz Nick is the base one. I change it back to there to kind of reset and let people find me and be able to do that. Other than that, you can add me. You can go into my profile on Twitter and add me on my other stuff, Instagram, Snapchat. I'm slightly active on those, but more active on Twitter.
Okay.
And if you're down to play, you can add me on my actual main account. I add everyone on there. I try to add everyone, try to play with a lot of people in the community. I'm on sometimes, again, because of internet issues. But when I am on, I'm normally playing Blitz, or maybe I'll hop into a casual and see how it works.
Right.
Streaming, on the other hand, again, still trying to figure out the whole internet issue. But when that is fixed and everything, I for sure will be back on streaming, and you guys can see and watch me have fun and get triggered off of the game, which is normally what I do.
Sounds good. Awesome. I'll include links in the show notes, so everyone check that out in the description. Follow them up. Hopefully, we'll see you streaming again soon. And be sure
me, I want to start.
Yeah. Be sure to follow Shatter The Vain on Twitter at Shatter The Vain. Website shatterthevain.com. All the episodes get posted there. Links to iTunes, YouTube version. Yeah. And I'll be back with 173 next week, maybe with some more Churn Walker news. Take care.
Let's get this over with.